Hello, everybody. My name is Colleen Fisk, and I work for an organization called Renewable Energy Alaska Project. Today, we're going to go through a lesson called Energy from the Sun, and we're going to see how different things use energy and where it comes from. And this is a combination lesson from AK EnergySmart and Alaska Resource Education. So all that you need is a blank piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, regular printer paper, and a pen or pencil. So if you need to, go ahead and pause this now so you can go grab that. Now that you have that paper, we're going to move on to our lesson. So think about, how do you use energy and where is that energy coming from? Now take that piece of paper that you have and fold it in half horizontally, hot dog style. And on the top, write source, and on the bottom, write use. So it looks something like this. So if you need to, go ahead and pause this now, so that you can do that, and then come back. Now that you have that paper, let's go back to that question about how we use energy and where it's coming from. So start with the use of energy. What is one way that you use energy? And think about where the energy came from to get that use of energy. A lot of the examples that I hear have to do with our devices, like our phones or our computers, our TVs, and those all use electricity. And so that is also what's the energy that is what we use for our lights and a lot of other things, our appliances that use that electricity. The harder part, though, is to think about, where does it come from in your community? So this is where I want you to pull out that piece of paper, and let's draw it out. So on the bottom, this is where you're going to draw the use of the energy, something with the electronics. You can draw a cell phone or a TV or a computer or a refrigerator or something. Here I just have a generic plug-in. And where's that electricity coming from? So think back to, well, it's plugged into the wall, so it's an outlet and a light switch, and then you have your power lines, and then those power lines lead back to electric power plants. So at those power plants, how are they generating electricity? Do you know? It's going to be different in different areas of the state. In South Central Alaska, like Anchorage and the Matsu Valley and the Kenai Peninsula, they mostly use natural gas, which of course is a type of fossil fuel. So they burn the natural gas in the power plant, spin the turbines, and generate the electricity that's then used to send to your house to produce that, to use it for your phones and other devices. But where do fossil fuels come from? A lot of times I hear dead dinosaurs, which is sort of true. Mostly it's coming from small plants and animals. And over time, millions of years, with heat and pressure, it's condensed down into these different types of fossil fuels. In this case, we're talking about natural gas. But where do those plants and animals originally get their energy? So think about plants for a second. How do plants get their energy? Probably thought of it as photosynthesis. So through photosynthesis from the sun, that's how you get that electricity, or not electricity, that's how plants get their energy, which then we can eventually turn into electricity. And of course, you think about small animals, think about the food web. Originally that energy came from plants, and originally it came from the sun. So that's one step. Now what I want you to do now is think about all the other ways that we use energy. We talked about one way with electricity, and only one way of producing it. So think about other ways that electricity can be produced, and other ways that you use energy that's not electricity. But pause it now. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to think about all the different ways that we use energy. I'm going to show you an image here. This was going to look a little different than yours because it's not set up the same way. But on the left, you can see some different uses of energy. We already talked about electricity, different devices that use energy. You notice there's also vehicles on here. So this is like our cars and our trucks, our four-wheelers and our snow machines. And these are mostly burning fossil fuels to generate the energy needed to move them. We also have heating our homes. Again, this mostly comes from fossil fuels. In South Central, again, they mostly use natural gas. Other parts of the state They use fuel oil or propane. Might also use plants, though, like wood, to heat your home. And then, of course, you probably thought about people. We need energy too, right? We're running around and playing or riding our bike or doing some sports or even just sitting and reading or listening to me right now. All of that takes energy. And so we get that energy from the food that we eat, like plants and animals. And all of that originally comes from the sun. Another way of generating electricity comes from renewables, like wind, solar, plants, right? Biomass can be considered that, hydro, all of these different ways that we can generate electricity. And all of this originally comes from the sun. So let's go through some other examples of how we use energy every day and think about where that comes from. Let's start with the energy for your body to live. If we wanted to eat a moose stew, where is that energy coming from? Well, we got to start with the sun. The sun goes to some willow trees, and the moose eats those willow trees. And then hunter gets that moose, and we turn it into moose stew. That all originally came from the sun. Now there's some other steps that we're skipping there, but if you think about the vegetables that are in there, the spices, all of that energy also originally came from the sun. So let's think about another example. Does the sun provide energy for the gas in our four-wheeler? Pause it now and think about it and jot it down. Where is that energy coming from for the gas in our four-wheeler? So hopefully you've thought through the process. Probably noticed a trend here. We start with the sun. Then we have our small plants and animals. And over millions of years, heat and pressure, we generate these different types of fossil fuels. Might be kind of hard to see, but in the bottom right of that image, see where it says oil. So we take that oil, we refine it, and we're able to generate gas out of that after it's been refined. And then that gas we can take and put in our four-wheeler and then ride it around and have fun. Maybe go moose hunting, or maybe just run around and have fun on it. So that's how we get the gas for a four-wheeler. Let's go through one more example. Can the sun's energy be turned directly into electricity? So instead of using fossil fuels like natural gas or coal, like these up in Fairbanks, how can we turn it directly into electricity? Pause it here for a few seconds, jot that down. How do you think that works? So you probably figured it out. There's fewer steps on this one. Of course, we start with the sun, and then we're going through solar panels. And from those solar panels, then we can generate our electricity. Now, all of these are pretty simplified versions. There's a lot of other steps that go into these different actions that we need to do, whether it's using electricity or riding a four-wheeler or eating a moose stew. And so all of those steps also take energy. Like the person who's installing the solar panels needs energy to be able to do his work. Or the person who made the solar panels, put them together, she needs energy to do that work. Or whoever mined the materials. And so there's a lot of different steps in that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pick something that you do every day, not something we've already talked about, something that you do every day, or something that you think is really cool, and write out or draw out what are all of those steps that it takes between the sun and whatever it is that you've picked. So either write that out or draw that out and have fun with that.